and welcome back to my channel once again. Hope you're all doing good. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the placement of planet Saturn in the sign of Libra, and also how does Saturn behaves when it comes to natives' married life when it is placed in the sign of Libra. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Saturn represents our karma. Saturn rules our karmic cycle. Saturn can also represent some very severe lessons which native may have to undergo to clear his karmic debts. Because remember, Saturn means transformation, and once we are able to repay our karmic debts, only then we are able to transform. Saturn also represents justice, one of the very important reasons that it reaches its exaltation in the sign of Libra, because Libra also represents justice. So once Saturn is placed in the sign of Libra, it feels in its own element. It can exercise its own trade, one very important side, because Saturn always wants everyone to be on the side of justice and never be on the side of injustice. So which is very much vivid and understood that why it reaches its exaltation in the sign of Libra. When Saturn is placed in the sign of Libra, it offers a very good scope for spiritual progression, to pay more attention to spiritual growth. But if I talk about the materialistic side, if I talk about the leisure and pleasure side, then I have somewhere seen it as failing with this placement, because Saturn, which is placed in the Mool Trikona sign of planet Venus, so somewhere Saturn placed in Libra intervenes and tries to restrict the areas that are ruled and represented by this sign. So if I talk about the married life, if I talk about the relationships, if I talk about the pleasure side, it somewhere gets compromised. Native will somewhere locate some serious struggles and issues in these aspects. And this is again one very strong sign as to why Saturn and Libra can indicate great spiritual progression in one's life. Because once the elements of planet Venus will start losing its own strength in our lives, only then we will be able to align ourselves with the process of spiritual growth. Otherwise, we will keep holding on to attachments and the material side of life, which is presented by planet Venus and the sign Libra. So when Saturn is placed in the sign of Libra, it somewhere guides native to come in alignment with the process of spiritual growth. And since it has already reached its exaltation sign, so somewhere it is indicating and offering that balance to native wherein he can survive in this world but without getting deluded for a very long time. As Saturn also signifies old people, servants, laborers, people who are involved in the kind of jobs that require a great amount of physical labor. So I've always seen one thing, that people with Saturn and Libra are usually good with these sections, with these people. And let's say if they're involved in the kind of jobs which are revolving around these people, let's say old age home, if they're working in old age home or if they're managing old age homes, they will actually be good at it. And let's say if they are working in departments where they're required to manage servants or laborers, so these kind of jobs they are going to manage very well, very effectively. Never forget one thing, Saturn wants all of us to attain neutral outlook towards other people. It wants us to become humble. It wants us to become grounded. One of the very important reasons that it reaches its exaltation in the sign of Libra, because Libra is always wanting and trying to achieve balance. And next sign to Libra is Scorpio, and Scorpio represents darkness. Only by interacting with our darkness we are able to enlighten ourselves. So somewhere Libra also indicates wherein you start losing your ego and you start associating yourself with other people with a very humble and positive approach. As Libra becomes the descending point and sign as per Kalpurush chart, so don't ignore the fact that ascendant means a place which represents self, where we can hold on to ourselves way too tightly, and descendant means a place where we start losing ourselves to a point where we can start partnering and collaborating or maybe associating with other individuals in a way where we can feel them. So Libra also represents a whole lot of grounding process. So this was all about Saturn and Libra from my side. If you found it helpful and informative, please don't forget to hit like. And yes, see you all soon. Please take good care of yourself.